You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
Oh, yeah, and see.
Oh, yeah.
See, remember the Kool-Aid guy? Did I cut you off? Did I cut you off there? Were you going to say something?
No, well, I was, but.
Do you remember the Kool-Aid guy as a kid where he would say, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the big red jug dude.
Try it one time.
Oh, yeah.
Did it make you feel good? Andrew, just try it one time. Oh, yeah. Andrew, come on, bring it. Andrew, do it. Do it now.
Oh, yeah.
That's
not it.
See, you know what I'm talking about, the Kool-Aid
That's
guy?
something different.
Yeah,
That's something
It's a
different.
blasty blast to say, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm fired up about today's show, Z. But
I too.
I apparently am so fired up I cut you off. What were you going to say there, my friend?
I don't recall. Something probably
Epic.
epic.
Probably an epiphany, the one I get
Probably
predicted.
life-changing, life-giving.
Well, day 4 of my coffee update. Still sipping on the same nasty coffee. Just letting you know, this thing is really got some flotation devices going now.
Got some growth.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Now, Z, now what's
When was the last time you actually took a sip of that?
just a minute ago.
Seriously?
It's pretty rough.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so we're talking today. We're talking today. I'm just being real. I got this coffee from Jason. I believe it was Sunday.
Yep.
And today we're recording this on Tuesday. So it's day 3.
I thought it was a Saturday you got it.
Well, because you dropped off on Saturday, right? This could be the Saturday coffee?
No, it was Jason.
So this could be
Jason
from
one.
Saturday, Z.
Could be.
This, who am I to argue? This could be, you're just fact checking here. This could be from Saturday. Now, the question the Thriver asks, they ask, Clay, why are you sipping old coffee? No, that's not the question. What they're asking is, they said, how do you find the time to read when working 60-plus hours per week? Now,
Oof, good
what I'm going
question.
to do is I'm going to, this is going to be a long answer. Please take notes. It's very specific. I hope this helps you. And then Z can one-up me because he's the one who taught me this.
Dun, dun, dun.
1, don't let me, Mr. Thriver, Mr. Randy in this case, don't let me put my goals on you. All right? Do not let me do that. Do not compare yourself with me unless you want what I have. So I'm going to introduce you into what I have, and then you can decide what you want. Much like Dr. Zellner, one of my businesses back in the day, Epic Photography, one of my businesses back in the day, DJ Connection, and one of my businesses now, Elephant in the Room. There's a market out there, Z, where I could just keep opening more stores.
Correct.
But I don't want to. And previous to having a man cave discussion with you, probably going back almost 5 years, we were sitting down. I said, Z, why didn't you open up another optometry clinic? You have 2. Why didn't you expand to other states? And you explain, I mean, it's been a long time, but roughly, what's your reason for not opening up more than just the 2 optometry clinics, which are very busy, by the way?
My children were young, and I didn't want somebody else raising them. And so I knew in order to be in their lives, you have to be in the house. And if I'm in some other state opening up an office, which takes time, and it's very
Which you could do.
which I could have done.
Right.
And so what I did then is I said I wanted to grow my footprint, so I thought, well, I'll just do other businesses within Tulsa. Therefore, I'm not traveling, and I can be there and be dad. Because that was to me, that was very important.
But at the time, I thought, because a lot of men, we say this, a lot of men, I'm sure there's women that say this too, but a lot of men, I see a ton of men say this. They say, I'm doing it for my family. No, you're not. You're probably doing it the first $50,000 of the year for your family. Yeah. Now it's just a game for you.
Sure.
That's I mean, maybe you are, Mr. Randy, maybe you are. I'm just saying for me, I wasn't. Right. I'm saying it's like a game.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it kind of
Game
fun?
show. Yeah.
It's fun. So I'm just saying, I couldn't say, well, I'm doing this for Vanessa. I did say that. I thought it, but upon further review, it wasn't about the money. When you can pay for the house multiple times and you don't worry about your bills, you could be done. I mean, I empower anybody out there to say, you know what, I'm cool. I can make $100,000 a year. I'm moving on.
Sure.
And I have a dentist client I worked with years ago. I remember this. We had a great meeting. His business had almost doubled in size in less than a year. This is close to a decade ago. And he says, Clay, I've decided I want to play tennis with my wife during the week. We love tennis. That's how we met, kind of dating. We played tennis. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, so I'm going to move actually to a smaller office. This lease is about ready to expire. Smaller office. I'm only going to see patients, 3 days a week, maybe 2. And I'm going to be semi-retired. I'm like, Doc, you're like 35, 36. He's like, I can though. It's just me and two assistants, and that's all I need. Now I'm good.
I'm good.
I've earned. I'm ready. I'm ready to just. I'm going. wow. But at the time, in my short-sightedness, I never said this to him. I just thought it driving back to the office. I thought, man, that guy's throwing away a lot of money here.
What's he doing?
So again, I like to read books. I'll tell you why I like to read books. The curiosity, the pursuit of knowledge. Like right now I'm reading the book. I can't mention the name of the book right now because I've been asked to read this book, and I don't like this book right now. But I like the way the book is written. How sick is that?
That's sick.
Someone said, "Can you read this book and break it down? Because I need you to understand how this book was written. It'll help you in this particular area of your life." And I'm going, okay. Bought the book. I hate the book. But I love the way it's written. And I told John this morning,
that don't make no sense.
We're working out this morning. I said, John, the formula's there. The authors build a rapport with the audience. They establish a need. They deliver benefits. Yeah. They go for the close. And as much as I hate the topic, I like the book.
Well, I can see that now.
So I kind of like the mechanics of it. You know what I mean? I don't even like baseball, the sport, but I love the stadium. I love going to the old stadiums and seeing Wrigley Field and how it's constructed. I'm kind of sick that way about books. But I think business people, if we're not careful, we start to go, well, I've read 1,000 books.
Well,
let's. You told me this, Man Cave, probably 5 years ago. I said, see, what kind of books you read? And you go, I like a lot of fiction. And I'm like, well, yeah, what business book? What case studies are you reading? What are you reading? You know, it's like in the Batman Man Cave time. Z, what book are you reading? Thinking if I get down to that lower, Andrew, when you get down to that real man talk, Z, what book are you reading? It's like Batman. And then I remember you saying like Game of Thrones or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you're reading Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
What business principles could you possibly get out of this? Is it a rape and pillage strategy or what?
Yes, exactly.
Can you explain to me the kind of business books you read now? What kind of business books do you now read, Z? Or do you read business books? And what kind of books do you read?
I mostly read fantasy or fiction. I mean, I like to be entertained when I'm reading. I at this point in my life, I'm not sitting out there trying to figure out, oh my God, we got to have a check. I know we have a checklist, but I'm not going to read.
Checklist Manifesto.
Manifesto.
By Atul Gawande.
Yeah,
because you've already read the 1990s version of that.
Right.
When you were learning, you used to run around that little to-do list.
Yes.
Where you'd write in 9-point font.
Oh yes.
With your little Post-it notes.
Right.
Where are those now?
Oh, somewhere in a landfill.
Because you're done with it, right?
I'm done with it. I love what you talked about the other day, a gentleman that you highly valued, and he said his philosophy of life was 1 to 25, you do your learning.
Yep.
25 to 50, you do your earning.
Yep.
And 50 plus, you do your returning. I love that.
So I think Randy here, you asked the question, well, how do I find time to read when working 60 plus hours per week? Now, Z, this is a self-serving recommendation for Randy.
Okay.
It's going to seem like it's coming from an unsincere place, and maybe you can help fix it.
Okay.
I read all the books behind me and condensed them into a book called Start Here.
Right.
So everybody would only have to get one book. And if they would just implement that, I get so many people that say implementing. I had one guy, he's a doctor on the West Coast. He said, after reading that book, I realized I don't need to ever read another business book again. I just need to implement all the action steps in that book.
Yeah, it's rich.
That's why we wrote that thing.
Right.
So I would say, I'm going to make like $3 and you buy the book too, by the way. That's how it works for authors, okay? So get the Start Here book.
Now you're just bragging.
Or get the Boom book, which is the magazine version, and implement everything in there. But see, isn't there a certain time where you have to just stop reading all these books?
Well, yes. You got to go into action. I mean, learning, I have put a high value on learning. And that's one of the reasons why we did our business school without the BS. That's what got this whole thing started.
Right.
Is trying to mentor millions in entrepreneurship. And so I think there's some point you go, okay, now put down the book and pick up the shovel and let's get it. Let's go. Or whatever your tool is you're going to have for your business. But I think that reading and always kind of learning some more, I think that's a good thing.
I agree.
And I would say instead of watching the new Netflix series that's come out, pick up a book. So, and if you don't like reading, get the books on tape.
So think about this. Step 1, define your goals. We got that established.
Yes.
But don't let us put our goals on you.
Don't let us be an Aunt Connie to you.
Step 2, don't read books just to read books.
Do you remember my Aunt Connie? Remember that story?
Well, here's the deal. Every time I hear about your Aunt Connie, it touches me in a way that was deeper than the previous time.
Yeah.
Just put the dagger all the way in. Just share it. Because I think Randy probably doesn't know the story.
Well, Randy, let me tell you the story about my Aunt Connie. It's my mother's older sister. She's passed.
Passed.
God rest her
Beautiful,
soul.
beautiful lady. Not now,
But
she's dead.
Years ago, for those of you who don't know, and maybe you're new to the show or something, but I'm an optometrist, which is kind of like a dentist is. In other words, I go to school specifically for the eyes, and everything I do is for the eyes, just like a dentist for the teeth. Now, an ophthalmologist is a physician that is an MD or DO that can do whatever, and then they specialize in eye surgery and eye stuff. And then an optician is like a pharmacist. They fill the prescription. So you have the optician, like a pharmacist filling the prescription. You have you have an optometrist, like a dentist, and then you have the ophthalmologist.
Repeat it one more time. I want to get it. So there's an ophthalmologist.
They went through medical school.
Got it, okay.
And then they specialized in eyes.
Okay, then there's the optometrist.
And our school was all about the eyes. Okay, and then you have the opticians, which are like a pharmacist. They're in the lab. They're grinding the lenses.
And what is an octomom?
That's a mom with 8 legs, I think.
Very good.
I don't know.
A mom with 8 kids.
8 kids. Oh.
Back to you, sir.
Octomom. I mean, you heard about the optician that backed up into one of the lens grinders.
No, I didn't.
He made a spectacle of himself. Okay, so.
Hey,
hot sauce.
Wait a second. Let me hit that. I happened too quick.
No.
That was too quick.
Charge.
Real quick, let me just hit this. This is how I feel.
Oh, Billy.
So good. So good when you hit the ear.
When I was younger, and we'd be at a family reunion, that was one of that's how your aunts and your uncles always sized you up, right? So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in life? That was the big question, right? What are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to do?
What are you going to be when you grow up, Robert?
Robert, you've got so much potential.
You're wasting your potential looking at the human eye all the time. It's crazy.
And I remember one time, I don't know why, I just thought it'd be kind of cool. I was pretty young at the time. I thought, I think I want to be maybe a cardiologist. That seems cool, doesn't it? Because,
That's great, Robert.
Being a doctor just seemed like the surefire, guaranteed way that I wouldn't grow up the way that I did, very poor. I thought, well, every time I see a doctor, they're never walking. I mean, they've got a nice car, right? A nice house, and always seems like they got a job.
I knew you would not be an idiot. Like, glad you're going to be a cardiologist and not an optometrist.
So years later, flash forward, we had another, Thanksgiving or whatever, and so she corners me, and
Robert, what are you going to do with yourself?
No, then she says to me, I'd been an optometrist now for several years. My business was growing. I mean, it was kind of a fun time in my life. I was loving it. And I loved the lifestyle that I had, and I thought about it hard and fast, but optometry is about half business and half doctoring, and people aren't coming in sick and dying on you, they're coming in, you make their vision better, and then you get to sell them something. Yeah. Please don't
Get
die
off
before
me.
you
Die over there. Don't die on me.
Don't die. Yes. And she cornered me up, and she just read me the right act. She said, "I am so disappointed in you." And I just looked at her and she goes, "All that potential you had, and you just became an optometrist. You could have," and she was just going on and on and on and on and on. Just how disappointed she was in me, and that for her, I was supposed to be doing something much different.
Right.
And that she had bigger goals for me. She had bigger stuff for me, and she just knew I was going to do bigger things. And I let her talk, and I said, "Well, Aunt Connie, you're able to have your opinion." But I want you to know one thing right now. I am very happy with my life and my lifestyle, and here are the reasons why. I'm very happy with the choices that I've made.
Yeah.
And I really don't appreciate, you thinking that since I didn't do your goals, that you're that disappointed in me. Why don't you just enjoy the success I'm having and celebrate that and not worry about
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Celebrate good times. Come
That's
on.
a good point, Robert. I love that jam.
And then she was kind of stunned, She was kind of quiet. She goes, "Well, I'll give that you're." She was then she was kind of like, "You're probably right."
You're probably right, Robert.
And then we never had that conversation ever again.
There it is.
There it is.
So, Mr. Randy, step 1, define your goals. Make sure that they are your goals, not Aunt Connie's goals. Make sure that they are your goals. 2, don't read books just to read books. I'm being a pastor I worked with years ago. He's reading all these books about the Bible. Zia books about the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I'm having a hard time keeping up, Clay. I hear you reading all the time. I feel like I should be really reading. I go, there's one book. I probably want to just dominate that one book for what you do. You know what I mean?
You do.
So a lot of times in your industry, you only need to have like 1 or 2 really good books that you dominate.
Yeah.
Now, the third thing here is you need to sit down. I'm assuming, it sounds like you're a married guy. I'd sit down with your wife and determine the boundaries that she's okay with. Determine the boundaries. So as an example for me, I'm allowed to start work at 3 a.m.
There you go.
I'm allowed to. So I can go to bed at 9 and get up at 3. That's
There
my
you go.
rule. That's
That's
6
your-
hours. I'm allowed to do that. Not allowed to get up at 1 in the morning anymore. Not
No,
allowed
no,
to-
no.
I don't get in trouble. It's like, you're grounded. It's more of like, I feel horrible the next day. I look like death. Then I want to go to bed early. And then she'll say something, really correct, like,
Way to deal.
if you go to bed at, if you get up at 1 in the morning and you go to bed at 7, you're not actually a dad. You just slept in the house where they live.
Oof. Oh, truth bombs. Oh,
And
that had to
I only
hurt.
need that, Randy, like every, year's a reset.
Yeah.
Like an
There's a
annual reset.
Yeah.
But seriously, I go to bed at 9, wake up at 3. That's our boundaries. Weekends, I'm with the kiddos. I can work up until 10 in the morning. On a Saturday, I can do that. I can. It doesn't bother anybody. The kids don't really miss me because they're upstairs doing whatever. But Z, once you get into that family time, once you're down
And you gotta
here
be
working
there.
on your
Turn off your phone.
working on your stuff, making that last sales call
Oh,
at
yeah.
10 o'clock at night, it doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well.
So define that boundary, because see, that's a you gotta get on the same page.
Yeah, and make sure when you're spending time with your family, like Clay just said, make sure it's quality time. You're not sitting there looking at your phone. Yeah. Your kid's trying to tell you about their baseball game for the day. Yeah. You're there. You're present. Put the laptops away, the iPads away, put all the screens away,
Yep.
and be present.
Now, Z, John Kelly, I know he has a question he wants to ask you about this. He just doesn't know it yet.
Oh.
So I'm just going to thank him in advance. He's over there taking show notes. But we're going to see if we can con him into getting on this microphone, because I have a question I know that he wants to ask, or that maybe someone else in his situation wants to ask.
But he just knows it.
I want to ask on behalf of the John Kellys of the world. So I don't think he's making his way over here. I don't think he is.
I don't think he is.
Okay,
He's
that-
being passive aggressive.
He's ordering his Browns apparel right now, getting ready to cheer
Oh.
for. He switched teams. He was a Giant fan for a long time, and he's decided that he's now that the Giants are dead to him, and he switched to become a Cleveland Brown fan. John, when did you decide to make the switch? Oh, you're muted again. There, you.
Well, passive aggressiveness.
I've never been a Giants fan. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so when did you decide to become a Browns fan?
I've been a lifelong Browns fan.
Okay, nice. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So here is the question. John is a guy with a young baby.
Yes.
I call babies sleep-sucking demons. I mean babies. So John, how many minutes per night does your baby sleep?
She will sleep on average. It's like 3 hours a day.
Now, Z, when you were a father of babies,
Yes.
what did it look like at home for you? Did your wife raise the kiddos, and did you go to work? What I'm not saying that that's the correct move. There's just somebody out there that wants to know how that happened. Did you go to work? Did she stay home? Did you help put
Yes.
the baby down? Tell me what your role
When I
was.
was at the house, I helped with all the baby chores. I changed a lot of diapers. Here's a little life hack for anybody listening out there.
Here we go.
Who's getting ready to have children?
Here we go.
Or you have an infant. I highly, strongly encourage you to have your wife or significant other, the mother of your child, learn how to breastfeed. Because then, when my kids would wake up in the middle of the night hungry, I'd be like, well, I don't got what they need. I can't. I mean,
Did you try?
this just in.
You know they have inventions now for that.
Oh no.
You
No,
have
but
to, like,
I
strap
did-
something on. And it's like a whole thing.
I
It's
did
terrible.
do a life hack
impressive.
with my daughter when she was a baby. So my wife would get up and there's a thing where they pump, so they can pump
Pump it up.
pump the
Pump
milk,
it. Just pump it up.
pump the
Pump
milk.
it.
I can't believe we're talking about this, but
No,
anyway, so then
I knew it would go here eventually.
she had a job right there at the end of my optometry school, so she kept it until we moved to Tulsa, and so she would go from 8 to noon, then come home and take care of little
Yeah.
Bridget, and then she'd go from 1 to 5, and so I had those 2 windows. I would be with Bridget all by myself, and so she'd have to pump so that I could
Pump
feed
it
her.
up.
Pump up, and so we would lay there in bed, and she'd wake up, and what I would do is I'd take my pinky, and I'd kind of roll it up like this, and it's almost kind of nipple-esque. And I would put that in her mouth.
I
and
can
she'd-
tell you this: you have one of the more nipply pinkies I've ever seen.
Thank you very much.
I'd agree with that.
And it bought me every morning 30 more minutes of sleep. But it only worked one time. Then she'd wake, so we'd go back to sleep. And then 30 minutes later, she'd wake up.
She's like,
It's
no, that wasn't it. You tricked me the first time.
yeah, she was like, oh no, Bucky.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fall for that
Oh,
one
I'm
again.
not going for the fake.
But John,
nipple.
what questions would you have? Maybe not even ones you have, but on behalf of guys like you, guys with young families, raising babies, getting young dads. Because I think there's somebody out there that has a young baby, young kid, young dad. They have this fear of missing out on their child walking for the first time or whatever they're doing. And so they're not able to fully devote themselves to the business. And so it never really takes off. Or what? Do you have any questions there on behalf of the Thrive Nation? Anything? Any observations on behalf of the Thrive Nation? Any just feedback as being a young dad?
Well, I mean, this is probably common sense, or at least it should be. But I would not recommend having a child, without planning it.
There we go. Hey, whoa, that's a tip.
That'd be a
That's
solid tip. Stephanie, my wife, she does a phenomenal job. She does most of the taking care of Harper is our daughter's name, and so she's a champ. Women are definitely the stronger sex in that regard, where that she takes care of her every single night, and so I could not do it by myself. Like, I know that. Like, if I were a single dad, like, I would just run in the river and just go hide in quicksand or something.
Right.
Oh,
And
you could do it.
I don't know.
JK, you could get it done. Trust me. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's coming. When they cry, there's three things.
Three things.
Three things.
The pinky. They need the pinky.
They're hungry.
Yeah.
They're uncomfortable downstairs because they just did a little bathroom
Little
break.
little business time.
Little business time.
Yeah.
Or
or-
what's the third thing? What could it be, Clay? You've
They're
got
probably
five.
irritated about global warming.
Yeah, and that's usually
Oh,
the third
yeah.
thing.
Just
Yeah.
Taking a
politics.
pro-green
Politics,
stance.
typically, with
Pro-green
babies.
baby.
I would just say this, though, seriously. If you're out there today and you're going, gosh, how do you find time? My final tip is say no to everything that's not on your list.
If it's not just a burning need, if it's not you'll die if you don't do it,
Yeah.
then just say no.
So, John, what kind of crap are you saying no to now because you are a committed dad, a committed husband, business guy?
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie and I don't really go out, so we have a weekly date night, but that's it, so we're not going out to the bars and doing things like that. I don't remember the last TV show I watched. I'm just very intentional, so I'm either at work or I'm at home with my family. It's one of those two things, and that's what I do.
I just think there's this idea, Z, that what we can do is not say no to things and then have big success. There's this idea out there on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a
Pretty
shame.
popular.
It's a shame, and think about it. I think particularly here in the Midwest, we're brought up to be nice, and nice is always good. Nice wins the day. So
Right.
continue to be nice.
Good job.
But you can also be accurate. And if
Oh.
you don't want to do something, you don't have to make up an excuse. You just tell somebody, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. And you may think that sounds mean,
You may
but
think
in the long run, it's actually nicer. They say if you're breaking up with somebody, that rather the person be told that, even though it hurts, than you ghosting them. You follow me? So if you're in the midst of a breakup, by the way, just as a sidebar here, a little extra bonus
This
tip.
is a little breakup
Oh,
tip.
little
This is
breakup.
great. I didn't
Don't
expect
just ghost
this.
somebody. Tell them, say, hey, listen, it's just not working out. I'm moving on without you. Have a nice life.
Can I-
And then play Adele over and over and over.
Dr. Z's
For like the
breakup
next 3
tips
days.
and breastfeeding tips.
Can
There you
I?
go.
So
can
there's a
I?
new show.
I mean,
I want to do a
hey,
pile on
breastfeeding
bonus
of
tips.
breakups.
Oh.
I do want to do a pile on bonus tips. I know there's somebody out there listening who's going to go, you guys are giving me conflicting information. Let me explain this. If Dr. Z fires somebody or someone on his team does, if they have to do, they don't want to do that. But if they do, it's very clear as to why they're fired. But then if the person keeps calling over and over and over to want to talk about it, that's when you say, blocking you. Right?
Correct.
After you've clearly
I
verbally
fired him. Yeah, I mean, like, boom. And I don't even want to tell him why I'm fired. You know what? I don't even want to waste my time telling someone why I'm firing
But you tell them face
'Cause
to
that just-
face,
that just
man to
starts
man.
I tell them they're gone and it's not working out. And you need to go bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So,
You're now
Randy,
a customer.
hopefully that answers your question. If you have any other questions, do not hesitate to email us to info@thrivetimeshow.com. That's info@thrivetimeshow.com. Now, Z, we have a conference coming up here in June. And
Those
I
conferences
think
are so exciting.
I think the June conference might be the Thunder Show.
It's going to be rowdy.
I think it's going to be very heavily attended. A lot of neat folks will be there. The date, I'm pulling it up right now on the calendar here. Do we have the dates?
7th and 8th. Is that right?
Yeah, it's
That's it.
June 7th and 8th, Z. It's going to be hosted at the Thunderdome, a.k.a. the Thrive Time Show World Headquarters. And Zohan, I think that this one, if you attend, I think it might just blow your mind.
I tell you what, it's so fun to hear the stories after a conference and the life-changing mojo that happens at the conferences. And, it's really kind of cool. And what's really fun, too, is that you'll see someone that'll be like, I guess it's my third conference to come to. And every time I pick up something, I pick up a new nugget.
I know the Canadians are going to be here. I believe we have.
Do we have anybody from South Korea yet? Because they download our podcast so much.
I think we have Canadians. I think we have Australia. I don't think we have a South Korean coming. We have someone from Guam. See, if you look here now today, we have 2,651 5-star reviews. 2,651 5-star reviews.
Oh my gosh!
So we're starting to pick up some momentum, some chi,
You think?
some energy, some mojo. If you don't believe the hype, please go to YouTube and type in Thrive Time Show Reviews, or just search on Google Thrive Time Show Reviews. You can read the reviews right there. And if you want to earn free tickets to an in-person workshop, or as close to free as we can do, simply leave us a review on iTunes or on Google and send us a screenshot of that to info@thrivetimeshow.com. Send us a screenshot with your information to info@thrivetimeshow.com, and we will make sure we take care of your tickets for the low, low price of $37. See?
Is that possible?
Well, it is. It's possible. And so now, Z, without any further ado, we're going to wrap up today's show. John, are you ready to go? Are you ready to bring the boom?
I'm feeling it.
Andrew, are you psychologically prepared?
Absolutely.
Okay, Z, you ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom! You may not feel like you're living to your highest potential because you're stuck in a rut, with your head down just trying to survive. When people are trying to get out of a rut, the first impulse is to often dream of a new destination, a new job, a new location, and maybe even a new career. Most people think unlocking one's highest potential requires a new vision or a new destination, and many books actually encourage that type of thinking. However, Carly Fiorina believes that this is where most of us get off track. It's not a destination, it's a path, and being the type of person who will take that path. You may know Carly Fiorina as the first female CEO of a Fortune 50 company, but you may not know that she started out as a secretary and rose to success one step at a time by solving the problems in front of her and empowering those around her. Her new book, Find Your Way, will help you choose your own path to unleash your highest potential. Start your journey today. Please visit findyourwaythrivetime.com. That's findyourwaythrivetime.com. Or purchase a copy of Find Your Way wherever books are sold.